I'm not normally a stats guy. Talking about statistics is Sarvesh's job. But I'm going to read out some numbers to you. 10.75, 14.33, 14.75, 15.66, 18, 12.33. Now, if you think I'm talking about some versions of software updates or something like that, it is not that. These, in fact, are the economy rates of Delhi Capitals bowlers, 6 out of the 7 bowlers that were used by Delhi Capitals. And if you know cricket, you will know that when you have economy rates of such high magnitude, the end result is also going to be disastrous for the bowling side. We saw a game between Delhi Capitals and KKR, match number 16. 272 for 7 is what KKR put on the board. This is Delhi's home game. KKR were the visitors here, but in Vizag, it was a run fest in that first innings. Now hold your breath, because when I say top scorer in that innings, Sunil Narayan, 85 of 39 deliveries. Raghuvanshi, Angarish Raghuvanshi, star of India's under 19 campaign in 2022, helping Sunil with 54 of 27. Andre Russell, who's really found some phenomenal form in this IPL 2024, 41 of 19, and Rinku Dev finishing it off for them, 26 of 8. 272. Now take a breath and just think about it. This is normally a good score in a one-day international. This is considered to be a par score in most one-day internationals, which are 50 over games. So when the same score comes in a T20 international, Sarvesh, it is not difficult to say that it was a pretty shoddy bowling performance by Delhi.
Yes, 272 in 20 over games. I think we are sort of moving in that direction. For years, nobody came close to that RCB's record, and now suddenly two teams have crossed that in single season in like within a span of 1 week, and one team almost came closer to chasing that 246. So I think maybe we are moving to that territory where scores of 260, 270 are not safe. Someday you might see that this score getting chased as well. I was listening to Ankarish Raghuvanshi, and Harsha was asking him some questions, and he said that surely this is enough, and he replied, "You never know that other day what happened between SRH and Mumbai Indians. So you just never know what is going to happen here." So even even the players, they now realize that these scores are no longer safe. You may see one-sided games after such big scores, but you can also see some closer games, like we saw the other day. So I think we could just be moving into that direction.
I'm just going to also ask you to quickly maybe check your microphone, Sarvesh, because just getting a bit of echo or feedback on this. So maybe if you can just check those settings. But we'll carry on talking about that batting performance. I mean, we speak about Sunil Narayan as a legend in T20 cricket, but most of his legendary status comes from his prowess with the ball. His batting is just an added bonus. But for 2 games in a row now, he's given KKR the starts that dreams are made of. Um, I mean, regardless of what happened today, he's got a simple template, isn't it?
Yeah.
Clear your front leg. If it is pitched in his half, he's got a beautiful swing of the bat, and he clears most boundaries when he connects them. One thing I feel that the reason Sunil Narayan is successful is because he does not have the fear of failure associated with him. Because he's been given a mandate by the team to go after the bowling, and they say, even if you get out on the first ball for the next 5 or 6 games, we don't care, because we're getting enough from you with the ball. So this way, it just frees his mind up. And when you don't have the fear of failure, more often than not, you're going to be successful. Do you tend to agree with that?
I mean, we spoke about Sunil Narayan, and the why people have sort of figured out and where to bowl him. But I think again this season, it seems that it is going back to that older template where Sunil Narayan, whatever he scores is a bonus. Today I saw he got a very slowish start. I think at the end of 5 or 6 ball, I think he just scored 1 run. So he got to that slowish start, but he look at it after one from six, he scored 84 from next 33 balls. So that will that this is like a proper batter batting at the top of order. So you rightly said whatever he scores is a bonus, and when you know that even if you lose your wicket, that is not going to harm your team a lot. That's what you call as license to go after bowlers for on every ball. So that is what they do. That is Sunil Narayan's role. We have seen him doing this in the past, but again now right now this is Sunil Narayan 2.0, and he's doing it again. Now we have spoken about his strengths, his weaknesses. We know where to bowl to him, but again, still, despite knowing all those facts, we are again going back to seeing Sunil Narayan hitting those sixes. I think he hit 7 sixes today. I mean,
Yep.
this this is like and the bowling attack DC. Remember, these guys, they defended a decentish total against CSK. Those guys did not allow CSK the start that they wanted. And that CSK top order, they have a lot of good players of seam bowling. They have Ajinkya Rahane, they have Rachin Ravindra. All these guys, they know how to play swing. And the same side was bowling today, and it was Sunil Narayan against them. I think the way when he starts going bang bang, I think he sort of rattles the opposition. And I think that's what happened today, and they had no clue where to bowl to him. We keep talking about the game plan to Sunil Narayan. Don't bowl him. Don't give him room. Don't bowl him. Bowl in his arc. Don't give him that typical good lengthish delivery. Just bowl into his pad. Bowl full. Try to swing into him. All those things. All that analysis. I don't know. I mean, I did not see a lot of deliveries bowled in that manner. So I think it was Sunil Narayan's day, and he just used this opportunity, and I think we may see this trend continue in next few games.
Yeah, those first 2 overs, they started really well. Khalil Ahmed, Ishan Sharma bowling really well, sticking to their plans. But as soon as they were taken toll off in maybe 1 or 2 shots, they immediately lost the plot. And you're right. The best place, in my opinion, to bowl to Sunil Narayan is to cramp him. Don't
Yeah.
give him any room. Don't let him take his front leg out of the way, and don't let him get a free flow of his bat, because once he starts getting that, you're in deep trouble. But what we saw was a whole load of rubbish. They were either too full or they were going too short. And when you're bowling short, you need two things. You need pace, like Mr. Mayank Yadav is, and you need good direction, because a short ball, if it is not coming up to your throat, or if it's not under your armpit and making you uncomfortable, then it's just sitting up there to be hit and deposited. And that is exactly what happened. Yeah, they're going to have some serious looks about, because I think planning wise, Ricky Ponting is a smart operator. They would have spoken about all the things. They would have watched Sunil Narayan in the last game, and they would have said, this is where we are going to bowl to him. And they started that way, but as soon as they got hit, they kind of veered from their plans. And once you do that, there was no coming back. Quick word on Anrik Nokia. You had the bowling figures up there, and I had a quick look at his bowling figures. We're talking about 59 for 3 from 4 overs. This is your premier fast bowler. This is your overseas fast bowler. This is a guy who's done well for you in the past. But for 4 games in a row now, he really hasn't turned up. I mean, I don't think he played the first one, but second, third, fourth game now, he hasn't really turned up. Do you keep picking him in the hope that that he's got the class and he'll come back? But at the same time, it's not doing his confidence any good, match after match, if he's getting hit like this.
Yeah, we spoke about this, I think, in one of the games where we know that DC have got another option on their bench in Jai Richardson. He's also very good bowler, quality bowler. So what they can do is they can maybe look to get Jai Richardson in early, because you don't want your bench players to come in at the back end, at the business end of the tournament. So just get those guys early and see how they are performing. If they perform, if they are back in form, then that's good, and that also allows break to your initial starters. So it will allow Henrik Nokia to have that kind of a break where he can just figure out he needs to do. I think that's one thing. So just get Jai Richardson in. It's a straight swap. Jai Richardson can also. The only issue with him is that he is going to be. He would want at least 1 or 2 overs inside that power play because we know his strengths. So I think where they already have Khalil Ahmed and Ishant Sharma as their power play specialists. So I think that's the only worry I feel. And then again they have Rafiq Salam, who again he's known to swing the ball, and we have been watching him his bowling in that middle section, and he is not that effective, in that middle overs phase. So again there are plenty of issues there. Bowlers are not bowling in the right phase of the game, in my opinion. I mean, I mean, you cannot do anything about it. Now you have got these particular bowlers, and I mean, you have to just stick with these guys and just have to utilize them uh, according to their strengths. When Kuldeep Yadav is not there, you tend to you have you have lesser options in that middle overs to control the game. So I think they have to think smartly. They have to probably get Jai Richardson and give some break to Nokia, and then they have to also look at Rafiq Salam because those figures are not looking great in last game as well. He got hammered. So I think those two guys, if you add their run tally, they have considered around 106 runs in 7 overs. I mean that's a huge tally. I mean, so you just have to figure out what you need to do with these guys.
Yeah. The irony of the fact was that Ishant Sharma produced the perfect delivery
Yeah,
in the 20th over. He
yeah,
bowled a 146 kilometer per hour Yorker to dismiss Andre Russell. First ball of the 20th over. And I was just sitting on the couch smiling there. I said, where was this delivery all this while when the carnage was going on?
yeah.
So I think, we talk about how T20s become a batter's game and the boundaries are getting shorter and the bats are getting better and the batters are getting more powerful and they're working out. So which means they're more powerful and they've got lots of power to clear any boundary. And the white ball doesn't swing and the pitches are great. And you can talk about all that. But at the same time, I look at cricket as a game of action and reaction. The bowler is the one who starts the action because unless he or she bowls the ball, the batter is just reacting to whatever comes from the bowler's hand. So you have the onus, you have the initiative, and it's in your power to kind of do what you want to do with that ball first before the batter then comes and does something with the bat. And I just think that there are skills and there are skill sets and there are areas that you can still master and practice and bowl. But talking about it is one thing, and then doing it in the middle under the pressure of a game is something completely different. While we are there, one last quick word. Is DC getting enough from Akshar Patel in these first 4 games? Because if you remember, he was their star player, and he was the only one performing with both bat and ball. But there's something not right about him this season, is there?
Yeah, I mean, look at this batting card again. If Sunil Narayan is going to bat till over number 10 or 11, so I think that's where they feel this issue because Akshar Patel, we know his matchups against the left arm spinners are not that great. So they will try to they will look to not use him against the against the left-handed batters. And when Sunil Narayan was in that kind of form, I think they felt that maybe this is not the right time. And I think they just used him for 1 over. But after that, there was Andre Russell, Shreyas Iyer, and then again there was Rinku Singh and Venkatesh Iyer, 2 left-handers. So I think in these games we may see him getting underbowled a lot. I think even in last season, I think last few seasons we saw Akshar Patel not completing his full quota of 4 overs. So now this has been happening now regularly with Akshar. I think that game of matchups is becoming a bit heavier on him, and I think that is now playing a key role here. I don't think DC management backs him to bowl those overs against left-handers when they are going at him. So I think we might see this happen a lot in this season.
Right. Last 2 things to talk about from that KKR innings. I'll save the best for the last. So let's talk a bit about Andre Russell. I was so happy to see the fact that he walked in the 13th over of the innings. Now, if you've been a KKR follower, you will know that KKR have been guilty of kind of keeping him on the bench and trying to delay his entry into a game, and it's cost them at times because he's got too much to do in the end, especially in run chases. But today they saw the opportunity, they had the initiative, and somebody's taken the decision.
Yeah.
You know, the momentum is with us. You go out there, play your natural game, and I was so happy to see him come in at number 4. And as you can see, 41 of 19 deliveries, 4 4s, 3 6s. Um, it's kind of horses for courses and being fluid with their plans as well. So it seems like a team which is like kind of thinking.
We have been criticizing Mumbai Indians and RCB for delaying the entry points of Tim David and Mahipal Lombro to some extent for RCB. So I think this is something I think KKR have figured out, that they are not going to shield their key batters no matter who bowls from the opposition. I think they are going to send, and they are going to play as per their conditions, as per their planning, and they won't think too much about the opposition. So I think this was a very good move. I felt they had a case to send Rinku Singh up at number 5. I think if that had happened, maybe we could have seen 290 or maybe 295, maybe 300 score, maybe. But I think let's save that for some other day. But I think you rightly pointed out that was a brave move, and that was the right move at that point. There was no point in keeping him for the back end, and they sent him up, and that made a difference of 10 to 15 runs at least. So it was a good move.
Yeah. And last but not the least, let's talk about this young kid, Angrish Raghuvanshi. IPL, I mean, the motto or the theme or the vision of the IPL is where talent meets opportunity. And clearly, from what we've seen today, definitely talented. The best thing I liked about him is the amount of time he has. You had Ishant Sharma steaming in, you had Andrik Nokia steaming in at him, and he just seemed to have enough time to execute whatever shot he wanted to play. The placement was there, the timing was good, the balance at the crease was really good to watch as well. So just yet another name for us to look out for of a young Indian batter, and very
Yes.
classy. Your first thoughts?
So I have been keeping an eye on Ankarish for some time, about 2 years now. So I've been because he plays for Mumbai under 23 and the younger age groups. I've been following him, and I felt I posted this like somewhere in January 2023, that maybe Prithvi Shaw, and once Prithvi Shaw and Yashasvi Jaiswal they start playing for India regularly, or India A, so Mumbai will need an opener to break into and their starting 11. And in my opinion, I felt Ankrish Raghuvanshi would do that job. He's still, I think, around 90-20. So I think he's at that time he was around 18. So I felt that he had a case for himself. But I think his domestic form at that time was not great. When I say domestic form, what I mean to say is that he was not scoring runs consistently. He was getting runs, but consistency was an issue. So, and at that time, I felt Mumbai just had to stick with the openers that they had that was scoring consistently for them. So I felt he had that talent, but those runs were not coming off consistently. He was scoring hundreds and getting out on ducks. That was the kind of trend that he was into at that time. So I think since that time to till this day, I think he has improved a lot. I can see that clear improvement in his game. He now understands his role, and I think he has the right kind of people in that dressing room. We know the coaches. Abhishek Nair, he's associated with Mumbai, former Mumbai player. Same with Chandrakant Pandit. I think those guys don't those guys know him coming, because it helps that all of them are coming from the same domestic team. I think it sort of helps there, and I think he knows. Ankarish now knows what to do. At the younger level, I felt that he did not have that clear plan, and I think now maybe that maturity has come in, and a lot can happen in 1 year. So I think I've seen him bat earlier. He was not consistent enough, but I think he has changed. He has improved a lot. We have seen this happen with Riyan Parag as well. So maybe something has clicked for Ankarish in last 1 year, and I think there's no doubt about his talent. It was just about his consistency, and I think hopefully we'll get to see that in next few games.
So that was the story for KKR. One last telling stat on that scorecard is the number of boundaries that were hit. So you can see 22 fours, 18 sixes, a total of 40 deliveries went either to the fence or beyond, which means a third of the 120 deliveries were in fours and sixes. If that doesn't tell you the story of this scorecard, I don't know what will. Let's have a quick look at what DC replied with. Look, chasing 272, you need to go hell for leather from ball one. So I don't know how much to read into that scorecard because when the asking rate is close to 14 from ball number one,
Yeah.
it is always going to be very, very difficult. Um, you know, David Warner, Prithvi Shaw, I mean, they had to go for it. So them getting out in that fashion is expected. There was a bit of a partnership there between Rishabh Pant and Tristan Stubbs when things looked really good for about 4 or 5 overs. Lots of hits to the boundary and beyond. Um, but just two people getting 50s was never going to be enough in a run chase for 172. They needed someone either to get a big daddy 100 or they needed at least their top four to kind of contribute with 50s and then the rest to fill up the rest. Were they any time in the game? Did you feel at any time that they were in the game?
After the start that they had, I felt that in that inside that power play, I think they lost most of their firepower, and it was just down to Rishabh Pant and Tristan Stubbs. So I don't think you can expect your key batters to do the job for you every other day. Rishabh Pant did the job against CSK. He was a difference maker. And today, 273 was the target. I don't think once your top order was gone, I think we always say that it's sometimes you just leave too much for your key batters. That they cannot even play freely. I felt he played a very good knock, but I think at the end of the day it was a bit too much for those two guys to do, and I think it was just about that one wicket, and once they were dismissed, I think that DC just collapsed. So I think they will have to find answers from that middle order. It's not working out for Mitchell Marsh. Maybe it's time to look at the other options. Fraser Magak is there. Maybe you can utilize him. I think Prithvi Shaw did well last time, so I think he'll get a longer rope this time as well. And I think you'll have to look at the other options, other overseas options. We spoke about Jai Richardson for Henrik Nokia. Maybe one more change they need is to get Fraser Magak in for Mitchell Marsh. So I think they can try him at this moment because you don't want to be trying these things when you're almost out of the tournament. So just try it now before it's too late. And I think Sumit Kumar is also one more name. I'm not exactly sure what his role is because he's not bowling a lot of overs. He's not batting in that top 7. So I don't know. I mean, what exactly his role is because I felt he had a case to bat inside that top 6 and score some quick runs and bowl 2-3 overs, but that is not happening. So maybe that is again one more name that they will have. Last season they played Aman Hakim Khan. We saw him. He's again a all-rounder kind of a player, but he did not bowl a lot. They just used his batting. I just hope that they use Sumit Kumar in a proper way. If it's not working out, then maybe you'll have to go to somebody else.
Yeah, no, completely agree with all your points on that issue. I'm also thinking there is Kushagra there, isn't there, in their squad, who they haven't gone to. They spent a lot of money getting him, and there was a lot of hype and talk about him, but we haven't seen him yet. So maybe that is another option in place of an Indian batter like Abhishek Porel or Sumit Kumar for that matter to bring him in and see how he goes. If we look at the bowling card for KKR, one name stands out above everyone else. The guy playing his first game, Vaibhav Arora, 3 for 27 in a 272 run chase. Brilliant analysis. But they didn't have Harshit Rana today because I saw him walk off because I think there was a bit of a niggle and they didn't want to risk the injury getting worse for him. So they didn't have the services of Harshit Rana. But Vaibhav Arora coming in, making all the difference. Lots of swing. He's known for swinging the ball, and he did that with the new ball. We've seen him in the previous seasons also doing really well. So shouldn't surprise you that he's come up with the goods.
Yeah, he's known. Even in domestic, he is somebody who will swing that ball and try to trouble batters early in their innings. First 2-3 overs are critical against Vaibhav Arora. He's not going to bowl in that 135, 140 mark. He's not going to go there. He'll keep bowling in late 120s and early 130s. That's his range. But despite that, he gets a lot of swing, and also you might feel that he is not expressed, so his bouncer is not effective. But I've seen him getting batters out on his bouncer. Even today we saw Abhishek Purel. He got him on a bouncer. I just feel that he has that skiddy action where his bouncers, they that has that surprise element. Normally we don't see that often in those late 120 and early 130s bowler, because that's basically what we call as medium pace these days. So that doesn't happen a lot, but I think it is Vaibhav Aurora is an exception. So again, good backup bowler to have. I'm saying backup because Harshit Rana is in that kind of a mood right now. That's where I think they are not utilizing Vaibhav Aurora, and I think the rest of the bowling card is pretty much it happened pretty much as expected. When you score 272 runs, your bowlers are basically they are going to get sometimes they are going to get hammered like Venkatesh Iyer did, or they are going to get wickets because batters are looking to score in quick succession.
Yeah, I mean, good to see Mitchell Stark pick up a couple of wickets there. He's had a bad time at the IPL so far, but he just seems to be finding some sort of rhythm. Good to see Varun Chakravarti in the wickets and a decent economy rate. And from DC's point of view, they needed at least another 4 more overs of the type that Venkatesh Iyer bowled to them to kind of get anywhere close to what KKR put up. Right, so 166 is what they finished off with. What does that mean to the points table for us?
So, the points table, the DC have got their net run rate has taken some hammering. They are now, yesterday Bengaluru was at number 9. Now the net run rate has gone below Bengaluru's. So now they are almost negative 1.347. They are very close to Mumbai's net run rate, but they have played one extra game. So we'll have to see what happens in Mumbai's next game. Maybe if they improve that, they might. In fact, next game is Mumbai against Delhi, right? It's Mumbai against Delhi, 9 versus 10, I think.
Yeah, they had 6 days off in between.
Yeah.
So
and after that,
Mumbai, and I don't know who they were playing next.
Yeah, I think it's Mumbai versus Delhi. So again, must-win game. Whoever loses that, I think he's not going to make up to that top 4 for almost. It will be almost certain.
Yeah, but good news on that table definitely for the Kolkata Knight Riders. 3 matches played, 3 wins so far, 6 points, 2.518 the net run rate, going absolute great guns. Rajasthan following them with 3 wins as well, just a slightly lesser net run rate, and Chennai and Lucknow making the top 4. Sarvesh, anything else before we kind of wind up today's show?
So I was thinking that we had two scores of 270 plus this season. So I thought maybe we should quickly compare where those runs came from, in which overs were targeted. And I sort of did a comparison, and here you can see KKR is in their purple and SRH is in their orange. And these were on x-axis you can see the number of overs, on y-axis the runs scored in those overs. So you can see they targeted different areas. SRH started really well. Then after that, the net run rate dropped in that. Run rate dropped in that 4th over. Then again they picked up, and during that 6-7, that phase where KKR actually dropped. So I think that is one phase where KKR actually could have scored more, but I think their run rate dropped. But SRH, we saw that they were scoring in excess of 18, 20. They were scoring in that region. And again, in the middle overs around 10th over, SRH were they were still going at it. They were still scoring at 18, 19. And I think at the end as well, you will see that KKR actually picked up after over number 50, over number 14. Look at it. I mean, 25 runs in that over, and then again they sort of tapered off. But in the end, I think the major difference was SRH. Look at that 20th over. They scored. They scored, I think, close to how many? They scored a lot of runs there, and excess of close to 20, 25. So I think that is one phase, I think, where SRH scored those extra 5-6 runs. And at one time, I felt KKR was actually going to surpass that 277, but that did not happen because of that last over, which I felt went for only 7 or 8 runs. So that's where actually SRH made that difference. So I thought this would be a good comparison to do.
Absolutely. No, that's telling stat. My only comment on that is it looks like KKR have a even spread of the
Yeah,
runs. They've
yeah,
gone at a constant pace throughout,
yeah.
whereas lots and peaks and troughs for SRH, but
SRH.
many ways to skin a cat, as they say.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we come to the end of another episode of the Sneakometer podcast. They're coming thick and fast. We are with you every day. If you haven't followed and subscribed to us, do that straight away. We'd love to increase our subscriptions. So yeah, give us a follow, give us a comment, give us a like, give us a share, and tell us how we can improve ourselves and what you like about the Sneakometer podcast and what are the things that you don't like so that we can improve. Until next time, thank you very much for watching and we will be back tomorrow morning with yet another game. See you then.